Welcome to ShowerThinkings. Today's video is, how long can a person hang from a cliff before their hands give out? Imagine you're dangling from a cliff, your fingers gripping the jagged edge with all the strength you can muster. The wind howls in your ears, and every muscle in your body burns with the effort of holding on. How long can you survive before your hands give out and you plummet into the abyss below? To understand this terrifying scenario, we must first explore the anatomy and physiology of the human hand. Your hands are complex structures composed of bones, muscles, tendons, and nerves. Each hand contains 27 bones and an intricate network of muscles and tendons that allow for precise movements and powerful grips. When you're hanging from a cliff, these muscles are pushed to their limits, constantly working to maintain that death-defying hold. But raw strength isn't the only factor in how long you can hang. Endurance is crucial. When you grip something tightly, your muscles and tendons generate force, and this requires a continuous supply of oxygen and nutrients delivered through your bloodstream. Over time, as fatigue sets in, your muscles start to consume more oxygen than your body can supply, leading to a buildup of lactic acid. This causes the burning sensation and muscle weakness that eventually forces you to let go. Statistically, an untrained individual can hang from a bar for around 20 to 30 seconds before their grip starts to fail. However, this can vary greatly depending on physical fitness, body weight, and hand strength. For example, rock climbers and gymnasts often train specifically to improve their grip strength and endurance, allowing them to hang for several minutes. Yet even for highly trained individuals, there are limits. Consider the case of professional free solo climber Alex Honnold, who has ascended some of the world's most daunting cliffs without any ropes or safety gear. Despite his extraordinary skill and conditioning, even he must regularly test and push the boundaries of how long his grip will last. Imagine being in a situation where any lapse could mean falling hundreds or even thousands of feet to certain death. The psychological toll is immense, compounding the already tremendous physical demands. Adrenaline plays a dual role in this cliff-hanging scenario. On one hand, it provides a temporary boost to muscle performance, allowing you to exert maximum effort for a short period. Your heart rate spikes, your bloodstream floods with glucose, and your muscles receive an urgent influx of oxygen. This fight-or-flight response can be life-saving in critical moments. However, adrenaline can also cloud judgment and lead to risky decisions, which might shorten the time you can hang on safely. Hypothermia and environmental factors add another layer of complexity. Imagine hanging from an icy cliff face while frigid winds sap the heat from your body. As your core temperature drops, your muscles become stiffer and less responsive. Fine motor control diminishes, making it even more difficult to maintain your grip. In extreme cold, even the simple act of holding on can become an insurmountable challenge, rapidly reducing the time you have before your hands fail. Studies on grip strength and endurance highlight startling differences based on gender, age, and even time of day. Men generally have greater absolute grip strength, but women often exhibit better endurance. Younger adults, between 20 and 40 years old, typically display peak grip performance, which declines with age. Interestingly, your grip strength can vary by as much as 10% throughout the day, stronger in the morning and weaker by evening. This means that the precise moment you find yourself hanging from that cliff could significantly impact your chances of survival. Think of Aron Ralston, the adventurer who famously amputated his own arm after being trapped under a boulder. His survival story underscores not just the physical, but also the psychological fortitude required in life-threatening scenarios. Ralston held on to hope and utilized every ounce of his strength and ingenuity to survive a seemingly impossible situation. Although not a cliff-hanging incident, his ordeal shares the common thread of human endurance in dire circumstances. In another harrowing example, climbers in the death zone of Mount Everest frequently face a grim reality, their own bodies betraying them. At such altitudes, oxygen levels are perilously low, and the human body can barely function. Even something as basic as gripping an ice axe becomes a monumental effort. Every second is a fight against the inevitable failure of their muscles and the irreversible grip of gravity. The tragic story of a climber named Hitoshi Onishi reveals the stark reality of hanging on too long. In 1999, on the perilous slopes of Mount Fuji, Onishi found himself hanging from a precarious ledge. Despite his considerable climbing expertise, exhaustion set in. For nearly 2 hours, he clung to life, his strength ebbing away. Eventually, unable to hold on any longer, he fell to his death. This agonizing story highlights not just the physical limits, but the harrowing choices climbers must sometimes face. Ultimately, how long you can hang from a cliff before your hands give out is a complex interplay of physical conditioning, mental fortitude, environmental conditions, and plain luck. Whether you're a trained athlete or an everyday person thrust into an extraordinary situation, the margin for error is razor thin. Human resilience and survival instinct can stretch the limits of endurance, but there comes a moment when even the strongest grip must yield to the inexorable pull of gravity.